Growth mindset is one of the most misunderstood ideas in modern psychology. Most people think it just means believe in yourself. That's not it. Here's what the neuroscience actually found and why it changes everything. In 2006, psychologist Carol Dweck published research that got turned into a slogan. Just believe in yourself and your brain will grow. That's the slogan version. But Dweck herself warned schools were teaching a false growth mindset. Telling a kid good try for the same mistake over and over isn't growth. It's just comfort. And comfort doesn't build anything in the brain. So if positive thinking isn't the mechanism, what actually is? To find out, researchers didn't ask people what they believed. They scanned their brains. In 2006, Jennifer Mangels ran an experiment using EEG, not a survey. Participants answered hard trivia questions, then got instant right or wrong feedback. Right after a wrong answer, every brain produced the same signal, an error-related response. That part is universal. Everyone's brain notices when they're wrong. But 250 milliseconds later, the brains split into two different patterns. Fixed mindset brains showed a small second signal, then went quiet. Attention dropped. Growth mindset brains showed a second signal nearly 3 times larger. That second wave is called the P3. It means, I'm still processing this. Growth mindset brains kept engaging with the error. Fixed mindset brains disengaged from it. That's the real difference. It's not a belief. It's a quarter second of brain activity. So why does a mistake register so differently for a growth mindset brain? The answer starts in the space between neurons, the synapse. Every time you struggle with something hard, neurons fire in a new pattern. That pattern strengthens or weakens depending on what happens next. If you disengage after the mistake, that pathway gets pruned. It weakens. If you stay engaged, like the P3 wave shows, the pathway gets reinforced. Reinforced pathways get wrapped in more myelin, a fatty insulation layer. More myelin means the signal travels faster the next time you try. That's neuroplasticity. Not a metaphor, an actual physical change in wiring. So the fixed mindset brain isn't broken. It's just closing the loop early. Mangels didn't stop at brain scans. She checked actual behavior too. After a wrong answer, everyone got a second chance to look up the answer. Growth mindset brains, the ones with the bigger P3, used that chance more. They actually studied the correct answer longer before moving on. Fixed mindset brains skimmed past it. Same mistake, same forgettable 5 seconds. That's the whole loop. Bigger brain response, more attention, better retention. None of that requires believing in yourself in some abstract way. It requires treating an error as information instead of a verdict. Here's where it gets interesting. A fixed mindset isn't a permanent trait. In 2007, Lisa Blackwell ran an 8-session workshop with 7th graders. Half the students learned study skills only. The other half learned this neuroscience. Just the neuroscience group taught that struggle physically builds the brain. Within 1 semester, their math grades reversed a declining trend. The study skills only group kept declining. The brain science group turned upward. Nothing else changed. Same teachers, same material, same school. One idea was added. Think about a student named Elena, age 13, failing algebra. Every red mark on her homework felt like proof she wasn't a math person. Her brain, in that moment, was doing exactly what the EEG predicts. Small error signal, quick disengagement. The mistake closed instead of opened. Then her teacher explained the myelin idea. Struggle wires the brain, it doesn't expose it. On the next test, she got a problem wrong. She stayed on it 40 seconds longer. That 40 seconds is the entire difference this video is about. It's not about her mood. It's about which brain network activated. A fixed mindset engages something close to a threat detection response. Getting something wrong gets processed almost like a small social threat. That's why it feels so uncomfortable. Your brain is half defending your identity. A growth mindset routes the same error through a different circuit. It engages the prefrontal cortex's error correction network instead of the threat network. Same event. 2 entirely different biological responses. That's the real split, and that split shows up before you've even consciously reacted to it. The EEG signal appears in about a quarter of a second. That's faster than you can consciously decide how to feel about anything, which means mindset isn't just a thought you have after a mistake. It's a setting that decides how the mistake gets processed at all. The good news, settings can be changed. Traits can't. Settings can. Dweck's later research confirmed this is a learnable orientation, not a fixed trait. Kids taught the mechanism, not just the slogan, showed the shift. Their EEG patterns moved closer to the growth mindset profile after training. That's the part the believe in yourself version of this idea always skip. It's not belief, it's rewiring, and rewiring needs the actual mechanism to work. So the false version says, praise the outcome, stay positive, move on. The real version says, engage with the error, extend the processing time. Those are almost opposite instructions, even though they get called the same name. This is also why good job for a wrong answer can backfire. It shortens the window where the brain would otherwise stay engaged. The real growth mindset move isn't comfort. It's staying in the error a little longer. Comfort soothes the threat response. Curiosity activates the correction response. Only one of those two actually changes the wiring underneath it. This also explains why some naturally resilient people were never taught anything. Their environment just happened to reward staying with mistakes instead of avoiding them, which means it was never really about their personality to begin with. It was about which response their environment reinforced scan after scan, year after year. And that means the environment you build for yourself now still matters. You can deliberately extend your own error processing window, starting today. Not by feeling better about mistakes, by staying with them a few seconds longer. That single behavior is the entire mechanism this research identified. Not motivation, not affirmations, just don't look away from the wrong answer yet. That's the neuroscience. Now here's how to actually use it this week. This isn't just a 2006 study either, it's been replicated several times since. Similar EEG patterns show up in adults facing job feedback, not just students. The same P3 gap predicts who improves after critical feedback at work. People with the larger response ask more follow-up questions after criticism. People with the smaller response change the subject or stop asking altogether. So this isn't a school-only effect. It's a general error processing pattern. It shows up in sports coaching, in relationships, in learning any new skill. Anywhere feedback exists, this same fork in brain activity is happening, which is exactly why the concept spread so fast. It's genuinely universal. But universal doesn't mean effortless. It means practicable in a very specific way. Here's the one practice that actually targets this mechanism directly. Step 1. Notice the exact moment right after a mistake happens. That's the moment your brain decides which network takes over. Step 2. Don't speak or move on for 10 full seconds. Just 10 seconds. That's the window the EEG studies point to. During those 10 seconds, ask one specific question, out loud if you can. Not, what does this say about me? Ask, what does this tell me? That single phrase shift moves the response from threat to information. Step 3. Name one concrete detail about what went wrong. Not, I'm bad at this. Something specific, I skipped the second step. Specificity is what turns a feeling into data your brain can actually use. Step 4. Do this the very next time you're corrected, not later. The mechanism only works close to the original error, not after you've moved on. Try this once a day for 1 week. Pick one mistake per day. It doesn't have to be big. A typo, a wrong turn, a bad guess. Keep a small tally, not of how you felt, of how many times you paused. That number is the only metric that matters here. Not confidence, not mood, just did you stay in the error 10 seconds longer? By day 3, most people report it starts to feel almost automatic. That's your prefrontal network being reinforced instead of your threat network. By day 7, look back at your tally and notice the pattern. Did it get easier? Did the 10 seconds start to feel shorter? That shift is measurable evidence of the exact mechanism from this video. This isn't a mood exercise. It's a rewiring exercise, and it's cumulative. Every rep adds a small amount of myelin to that specific pathway. A week won't finish it, but a week will start it, provably. If you want to make it stick, tell one other person your tally. Saying it out loud recruits the same processing window one more time. That's it. One phrase, 10 seconds, 1 week. That's the entire protocol. No affirmations required. Just a slightly longer look at what actually went wrong. If this made sense, the next video in this series goes deeper. It's called Neuroplasticity Explained, how your brain physically rewires when you learn. This video showed you the 250 millisecond split. That next one shows you what happens in the following 24 hours. Same mechanism, wider lens, synapses, myelin, and how memory actually consolidates. If you're testing the 10-second practice this week, start today, not tomorrow. The first mistake you make after watching this is your best opportunity. Don't let it it pass by unprocessed. That's the whole point of this video. This channel builds one mindset concept at a time, all connected. Every belief eventually becomes a behavior. Every behavior becomes evidence of who you are. This was belief. The next series covers behavior, how identity actually gets built. See you in the next one. 10 seconds. That's all it takes to start.